Cancun, Paris, London, Rome, the Bahamas. That's where Americans go, year after year after year. Those places are fine, but you know what they also are? Crowded, overpriced, and exactly the same trip your coworker took last month. Meanwhile, there are countries out there with stunning scenery, incredible food, almost zero American tourists, and flights that cost less than a weekend in Miami. Today, 5 of them. 5 countries most Americans have never even considered. Let's go. Number 1. Oman. Everyone knows Dubai, the skyscrapers, the malls, the artificial everything. Oman is right next door, literally a 2-hour drive from Dubai, and it's the complete opposite. Instead of glass towers, you get ancient clay forts built into mountainsides. Instead of tourists packed into a mall the size of an airport, you get turquoise bays where you're the only person for miles. Instead of indoor ski slopes in the desert, you get the Al Hajj Mountains, over 10,000 feet high, with canyons, natural swimming pools called wadis, and villages where people still farm on stone terraces the way they did 1,000 years ago. Americans get visa-free entry for up to 30 days. Just show up with your passport. No non-stop flights from the US exist yet, but Oman Air, Turkish Airlines, and Qatar Airways all run convenient one-stop routes from New York, LA, and Chicago. Total travel time is usually 14 to 17 hours depending on the connection. Round-trip tickets run anywhere from $700 to $1,200. Muscat, the capital, smells like frankincense. That's not a metaphor. Oman has produced some of the world's finest frankincense for thousands of years. The region of Dhofar in southern Oman was the ancient world's most prized source, and they
burn it everywhere, in homes, in shops, in hotel lobbies. The Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque is one of the most beautiful religious buildings in the Middle East, with a Swarovski crystal chandelier that weighs over 8 tons and a hand-woven Persian carpet that took 4 years and 600 weavers to complete. The Muttra Souk is one of the oldest markets in the Arab world, narrow alleys stacked with silver, textiles, and incense. And the Wahiba Sands, a sea of orange dunes stretching to the horizon, is where you can sleep in a Bedouin camp under a sky so dark and clear it looks fake. Prices? Way cheaper than Dubai or Abu Dhabi. A seafood dinner at a local restaurant runs $8 to $12. A solid mid-range hotel? $50 to $70 a night. A full-day 4x4 desert tour with lunch? Around $40 per person. If you're tired of the Persian Gulf being all about luxury malls and bottle service, Oman is the antidote. Mountains, desert, ocean, and 4,000 years of history without a single Gucci store in sight. Number 2. Uzbekistan. Quick, what do you know about Uzbekistan? If the answer is not much, you're in good company. Most Americans couldn't point to it on a map, which is wild because it contains some of the most visually insane architecture on the planet. Uzbekistan sits in the middle of Central Asia, and for centuries it was the beating heart of the Silk Road. The cities along that route, Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva, have turquoise-tiled mosques and madrasas that are 600 years old and look like nothing you've seen in person before. The Registan in Samarkand, 3 massive facades covered in geometric tilework surrounding a single square, is routinely listed among the most beautiful public spaces on Earth. Photos don't do it justice. You have to stand in front of it. As of January 1st, 2026, Americans get visa-free entry for up to 30 days. This is brand new. Previously, you needed an e-visa, so the country is genuinely just opening up. Flights from New York go through Istanbul or Dubai. Total travel time around 15 to 17 hours. Expect to pay $800 to $1,300 round trip. But Uzbekistan isn't just about old buildings. Bukhara's old town is a maze of covered bazaars where you can buy hand-embroidered Suzani textiles and sit drinking green tea with the vendor while he tells you the cloth took his mother 3 months to stitch. Khiva is a walled city. You walk through the gate and it's like entering a film set, except everything is real and dates to the 1700s. The food is reason enough to go. Plav is the national dish, a mountain of rice with lamb and carrots cooked in a cast-iron pot over open flame, and every region has its own version. A full meal at a local restaurant? $3 to $5. A night in a boutique hotel inside a restored caravanserai? $25 to $40. And the country just launched the Afrosiyob, a high-speed train connecting Tashkent to Samarkand in 2 hours, which makes getting between the main cities painless. Uzbekistan is starting to get attention in the travel world, but American tourists are still almost non-existent on the ground. That won't last. Number 3. Albania.
Albania sits on the Adriatic and Ionian coasts, right across from the heel of Italy's boot. It's got beaches that look like Greece, mountains that look like Switzerland, and prices that make both of those countries seem absurd. Here's the kicker for Americans. You can stay visa-free for up to 1 full year.
365 days. That's not a typo. It's a bilateral agreement between Albania and the US, and it's one of the most generous visa policies for Americans anywhere in the world. Flights from New York to Tirana connect through major European hubs: Rome, Istanbul, Vienna. Total travel time 12 to 14 hours. Tickets run $500 to $900 round trip. Kasamil, in the south, has white sand beaches and water so clear you can count pebbles at 20 feet. Gyarastar is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, an entire hillside of Ottoman stone houses that looks frozen in the 1800s, with a massive fortress overlooking the valley below. Berat, the city of 1,000 windows, is another UNESCO site where whitewashed houses climb a hillside toward a castle that's been continuously inhabited for 2,400 years. Tirana, the capital, is chaotic and alive. Communist-era bunkers turned into art installations, brutalist apartment blocks painted in wild colors, and a food scene that's gotten seriously good in the last 5 years. Albanian food is a mashup of Greek, Turkish, and Italian. Grilled lamb, fresh seafood, cheese pies called byrek, and olive oil on everything. A full dinner with wine, $12 to $15. A beachfront hotel on the Albanian Riviera in peak summer, $50 to $80 a night. An espresso in Tirana, 50 cents. Albania is blowing up on European travel social media, but Americans are barely there yet. The infrastructure is improving fast. New highways, better airports, more international flights. 5 years from now, the prices won't be this low. Number 4, North Macedonia. A small Balkan country squeezed between Greece, Albania, Serbia, and Kosovo. Population, 2 million, roughly the size of Vermont.
International tourists, a handful. And that's a shame, because what's here is genuinely worth the trip. Lake Ohrid is one of the oldest lakes in Europe, somewhere between 3 and 4 million years old. Crystal clear water, medieval churches perched on cliffs over the shoreline, fishing villages where the pace of life hasn't changed in decades. The town of Ohrid itself is a UNESCO site, sometimes called the Jerusalem of the Balkans, for its density of churches, more than 350 built over the centuries in a tiny area. Skopje, the capital, has the most surreal architecture you'll see anywhere. Ottoman mosques standing next to brutalist concrete structures designed by Japanese architect Kenzo Tange after the devastating 1963 earthquake, standing next to neoclassical statues and triumphal arches the government erected around 2014 in a wildly controversial beautification project. It shouldn't work? It kind of does. Either way, you won't see anything like it anywhere else. Matka Canyon is 20 minutes from downtown Skopje. Turquoise River, limestone caves, kayaking for $10. The wine is excellent. Vranik is a local red grape that's virtually unknown outside the Balkans, and a very good bottle costs $4 to $6 at a shop, $15 at a restaurant. The food is a Turkish-Greek crossover: grilled meats, stuffed peppers, tavche gravche, baked beans in a clay pot that's better than it sounds, and fresh shopska salad, with a full restaurant meal running $5 to $8. Americans don't need a visa for stays up to 90 days. Getting there means connecting through a European hub. Vienna, Istanbul, or Zurich are the most common, with total travel time around 12 to 14 hours from the East Coast. Flights run $600 to
$1,000 round trip. North Macedonia is budget Europe without the crowds, without the lines, and without anyone trying to charge you 22 euros for a cappuccino. If you want the Balkans, but you're sick of hearing about Dubrovnik from every travel influencer on earth, put this on your list. Number 5, Jordan. Most people know exactly one thing about Jordan: Petra. And Petra absolutely earns its spot as one of the new 7 wonders of the world. But if that's all you think Jordan has, you're missing 90% of the country. Wadi Rum is a desert valley that looks like the surface of Mars. That's not hyperbole. It's where Ridley Scott filmed The Martian, where Denis Villeneuve shot parts of Dune, and where Lawrence of Arabia actually happened. You can camp overnight in a Bedouin tent, ride camels through sandstone corridors at sunset, and see rock formations that are hundreds of millions of years old. The Dead Sea, the lowest point on Earth, over 1,400 feet below sea level, sits on Jordan's western border. You float in water so dense with salt that sinking is physically impossible. Amman, the capital, is an underrated city. Roman ruins from the 2nd century right in the middle of downtown, a souk where you can eat the best falafel of your life for $1, and some of the warmest, most genuinely hospitable people you'll encounter anywhere.
Then there's Aqaba, Jordan's Red Sea city, with world-class diving and snorkeling on coral reefs that haven't been wrecked by mass tourism. And Dana Nature Reserve, a massive rift valley with hiking trails, Bedouin communities, and wildlife including the Nubian ibex and Syrian sarin that you won't find elsewhere in the Middle East. Americans need a visa, but here's what to do.
Buy the Jordan Pass online before you go. It starts at $70 JOD, that's about $99, and it includes your visa fee plus entry to over 40 attractions, including Petra. The catch, the visa waiver only kicks in if you stay at least 3 consecutive nights. If you're doing any real trip to Jordan, you will, so it works out. It's genuinely one of the best travel deals anywhere. Wrapping up, 5 countries, 5 trips that almost no Americans are taking and should be. Oman for the real Arabian Peninsula without the Dubai markup. Uzbekistan for Silk Road architecture that hasn't been Disneyfied. Albania for European beaches and mountain towns at a fraction of the price. North Macedonia for Balkan culture that hasn't been discovered by the Instagram crowd yet. Jordan for history, desert, and the Dead Sea, with a Petra visit that's worth every penny. What all 5 have in common: minimal American tourists, no inflated gringo pricing, no tourist traps designed for cruise ship passengers, just the actual country, the actual people, and the actual food. If this helped, like and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me which of these 5 you'd pick first. I'll go film a full report from whichever one wins. Deal? See you next time.